Would you like to work hours on end and have very little to show for it, or work very little and have a lot to show for it? My name is Merrill Taylor with Tax Tutor, and if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below. So we're talking today about how to charge. So when it comes to tax returns, there are various ways that you can charge for returns and various clients that you can take on. I have the opportunity to get on the phone with a lot of people that are starting tax preparation businesses and talk to them about where they're headed and where they would like their business to go. Sometimes I talk to people who would like to take on a lot of individual clients and charge them $80 per tax return to do that. Then I talk to some people that understand that by bringing on a business client and charging them $1,000 for their business returns is where they want to go. Either way is fine. People certainly build large businesses based on $80 tax returns, and people build very large businesses based on $1,000 tax returns. It all comes down to mindset and pricing and how they price those services and how they position themselves to doing those services. You can see here I have a few numbers on the board. So if you want to get to $100,000 of income in your business, a six-figure income, which is fairly common, people like to have that. If you're going to charge $80 per tax return, you're going to take on a bunch of individual clients and charge $80 per tax return, you're going to need to get 1,250 clients to get to that six-figure mark. And that's gross income, not net, right? Because you're charging them a gross $80. If you charge $1,000 per tax return, then you'll need 100 clients to get to $100,000 of income. So you need far less clients to make that much money. Now, what's the difference between a $1,000 tax return versus an $80? Well, an $80 tax return would be like an individual return that's very simple, maybe some W-2s, something like that in there. A $1,000 tax return would be a business owner. That would be doing an S corporation plus an individual return, or a partnership plus an individual return, something along those lines. So you could go after either of those markets, either of those segments, and that would be your gross. So if you want to get to six figures, building an $80 per tax return practice, you're going to need 1,250 clients. If you want to get to six figures working with business owners, doing their business return and their personal, and you charge them $1,000 for that, you'd need 100 clients to do that. Now, the challenge of doing the $80 and taking on 1,250 clients is time. Now tax season is a very brief season in time. You know, we've got maybe 3 months, maybe two typically. You got like mid-February to mid-April, maybe beginning of February to mid-April. So in reality, we've got maybe 10 weeks that are in there. You've got all of February, 4 weeks in February, 4 weeks in March, 2 weeks in April. About 10 weeks to do that. So if you wanted to do this on your own, and you wanted to charge $80 per tax return, and you wanted to make six figures and bring on 1,250 clients, well, I got bad news. You're going to have to work 100 hours a week. Let's say that a return takes you an hour to prepare, okay? So an hour to prepare, you're going to have to work 100 hours a week and do that for 12 and a half weeks straight to make that $100,000. And you're going to have to find 1,250 people to pay you $80 for you then to work 100 hours a week and make at 12 and a half weeks. You may not have that much time or that much ability to do that. Perhaps you do, but that would become very tiring. And usually we don't even have 12 and a half weeks in the tax season. Versus if you work with business owners, you charge them $1,000 per tax return. You have 100 owners that you find that you prepare their returns for. Well, now you only have to work 20 hours a week for 10 weeks during tax season. That's a much more sustainable way to do it. Those 10 weeks, you'd start at the beginning of April there, or excuse me, beginning of February, and then work the 10 weeks through the middle of April. 20 hours a week, 10 weeks, you could get there just the same. The difference between charging somebody $80 versus charging somebody $1,000 for their return comes down to quantity versus value. When you charge $80 for a tax return, you're going to be working on a high quantity. You're just going to be trying to turn over people like crazy. Instead, if you are charging $1,000 per tax return for their business returns, you're going to be looking at value. You're going to be working with business owners. They're going to want to learn ways to save money on taxes. They're going to pay you more for your knowledge and more for your skills and expertise than they are for just putting numbers on a tax return. $80 tax return is somebody just filling out forms and filing returns. There's really no thought to it, there's no planning, there's no help, there's no value that's provided there. Versus $1,000 for a tax return, business owner is going to come to you, they're going to recognize you have some knowledge, some expertise, and they're going to pay a little bit more for that because you're going to save them more. The person getting an $80 return done, that's pure cost to them because they're not saving anything, they're not getting any value. The person paying $1,000 for a tax return values your service and values what you're doing for them because you're actually saving them money. If you're really good at it, the $1,000 they pay you, you're going to find ways to save them more than $1,000 in taxes. So in reality, your services are free to them. And they value and trust you as an advisor and go to you for that help. So that's just kind of a way to look at it, kind of a mindset of, where you want to be. Do you want to be the $80 person that's working endless hours, or do you want to be the $1,000 person that doesn't work as much but yet provides that great value? The other thing to point out here that if you're working 100 hours a week for 12 and a half weeks is probably not sustainable. You're going to have to hire somebody to help you with that much volume. Otherwise, you're just going to work yourself into the ground. And when you hire somebody, now you've got to pay them to help you prepare returns, and your net income is no longer significantly reduces from $100,000. Maybe now you're making 30, 40, 50, who knows what you're making, but certainly not that. Versus if you're the $1,000 advisor helping somebody, working 20 hours a week for 10 weeks, that's sustainable. Maybe you got a job, maybe you got other things going on. Chances are you could probably add 20 hours to your week and make that extra money without having to hire somebody else to help you do that. Or you could just do that yourself. Or you could bring on 200 clients and work 40 hours a week for 10 weeks and make $200,000. That's a very scalable thing. Plus now, if you need to hire staff, if you're charging $1,000 per tax return, you've got so much more margin and so much ability to hire staff. Versus if you're doing $80 tax returns, you don't have much margin there. Any staff you hire is going to be money out of your pocket, and would make that situation even more aggravated, even more difficult to deal with. So anyway, just kind of a mindset thing. Just think about, are you the $80, let's put numbers on a form, or are you the $1,000, let's come in and really help you save money on taxes and get you that great benefit. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below.